Hello, future biologists. Welcome to a fascinating journey into the world of diversity in living organisms. Today, we are unraveling the mystery behind how scientists name every plant, animal, and microbe on Earth. Our topic is binomial nomenclature, focusing on Carolus Linnaeus's rules and its immense significance. From understanding why we even need scientific names to diving deep into the systems engineering, we'll explore this concept across 4 levels: easy, medium, hard, and hardest. Get ready to discover the universal language of life. Ready to unlock the secret language of life? Let's start with the basics of how everything gets its unique scientific name. Imagine trying to talk about a plant, but everyone calls it something different. That's the problem Carolus Linnaeus solved. Binomial nomenclature is simply a two-part scientific naming system that gives every living thing a unique, universal name. Linnaeus, a brilliant Swedish scientist from the 18th century, is often called the father of taxonomy because he introduced this genius idea. Before him, names were long and confusing. His system brought order, making sure scientists worldwide could understand each other when discussing different organisms. So, how does this two-part naming system actually work? It's quite straightforward. Every scientific name has two parts, the genus and the species. Think of genus as a family name and species as a given name. The genus name always starts with a capital letter, like Homo. The species name, however, always starts with a small letter, like Sapiens. When you write these names, they must be in italics if typed, or underlined separately if handwritten. For example, humans are *Homo sapiens star. *Homo* is our genus, and *sapiens* is our species. This simple yet powerful system ensures no confusion. Now, let's test your understanding of the basics. Take a moment to answer these 3 questions. 1. What is the main purpose of binomial nomenclature? 2. Who introduced the binomial naming system, and what is he often called? 3. Write the scientific name for humans and identify its 2 parts according to the rules. Pause the video if you need more time. Think carefully about the key points we just discussed. Feeling confident with the basics? Great! Let's now dive a little deeper and explore more about Linnaeus and the detailed rules of this incredible naming system. Carolus Linnaeus, born in 1707, was much more than just a namer of species. This Swedish botanist, zoologist, and physician was a true visionary who revolutionized biological classification. His most profound contribution was formalizing binomial nomenclature in his publication *Systema Naturae Star. Linnaeus recognized the chaos and confusion caused by the lengthy, inconsistent names used before his time. He was driven by a desire to bring order and precision to the study of the natural world, laying a fundamental groundwork that continues to be essential for modern taxonomy. Imagine trying to study biology when every organism had a different name in every country, or even worse, long, descriptive phrases that varied wildly. This was the reality before Linnaeus. Common names like starfish are misleading, as it's not a fish, and daisy can refer to many different flowers. This ambiguity was a huge barrier to scientific progress. Linnaeus understood that for scientists worldwide to communicate effectively and build upon each other's discoveries, a standardized, universal naming system was absolutely essential. His binomial system provided that much-needed clarity. So, what are the specific rules that make binomial nomenclature so effective? First, it's always a 2-part name, the generic name, or genus, and the specific epithet, or species. The genus always starts with a capital letter, while the species always starts with a small letter. When typed, remember to italicize the entire name, like *Mangifera indica*, for the mango. If you're handwriting it, underline both parts separately, like U. Mangifera, U. Indica, U. these names are typically derived from Latin or Greek, ensuring universality and stability because these are dead languages, meaning their meanings don't change over time. Sometimes, you'll also see the name of the scientist who first described the species, called the authority, after the binomial name. Time for some medium-level challenges. Answer these 5 questions to solidify your understanding. 1. Why did Carolus Linnaeus introduce the binomial nomenclature system? 2. List 3 main rules for writing a scientific name using binomial nomenclature. 3. Explain the confusion that common names can create, using an example. 4. What does it mean for a scientific name to be universal? 5. If you were to handwrite the scientific name for a peacock, *Pavocristatus*, how would you write it? Take your time, pause if needed, and think through your answers. Ready to elevate your understanding? Let's delve into the deeper historical context, advanced rules, and profound implications of binomial nomenclature. Before Linnaeus, taxonomy was a chaotic landscape of polynomial names, long, descriptive Latin phrases. Imagine trying to categorize or discuss a tomato, referred to as *solum col inermi herbaceae, folies pinnatis incisus *, meaning solum with a smooth herbaceous stem and incised pinnate leaves. Such lengthy and inconsistent names made scientific communication and cataloging incredibly difficult. Linnaeus, through his landmark works *Species Plantarum* in 1753 and *Systema Naturae* in 1758, dramatically simplified this by proposing the two-word binomial. This innovation didn't just simplify identification, it laid the robust foundation for modern taxonomy, bringing much-needed order and clarity to the biological world. Beyond the basic capitalization and italics, binomial nomenclature operates under sophisticated rules and international codes. All scientific names are treated as Latin, regardless of their origin, ensuring a neutral and universally understood language whose meanings remain stable over time. A crucial principle is priority. The first correctly and validly published name for a species takes precedence over any later names, ensuring consistency. Each new species description also designates a type specimen, a physical reference that serves as the definitive example for that species. These rules are rigorously maintained by international bodies like the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, ICZN, and the International Code of Nomenclature for Algae, Fungi, and Plants, ICN. These codes meticulously address complex issues such as homonymy, where the same name cannot be used for different species, and synonymy, where multiple names for the same species are resolved to a single, valid one, thereby upholding the system's integrity. Binomial nomenclature is far more than just a naming system, it's an integral component of the broader Linnean hierarchical classification system, which organizes life from kingdom down to species. The genus name within the binomial directly links a species to a group of closely related organisms, providing insights into their evolutionary relationships and shared characteristics. This hierarchical integration makes the system highly informative. Its profound significance extends to global scientific communication, enabling scientists from diverse linguistic backgrounds to refer to the same organism without confusion, and facilitating efficient data retrieval in vast biological databases. It's also critical for conservation biology, helping identify and monitor endangered or invasive species, and forms the stable framework for all evolutionary studies and biological research, providing a common, unambiguous language for the study of life. Now, let's challenge your understanding with these 7 questions at the hard level. 1. Compare and contrast the pre-Linnean naming system with Linnaeus's binomial nomenclature, highlighting their key differences and advantages. 2. Explain the importance of Latinization in scientific nomenclature. 3. What is a type specimen in taxonomy, and why is it significant? 4. How do the international codes, ICZN, ICN, contribute to the stability and consistency of binomial nomenclature? 5. Discuss how binomial nomenclature integrates into the broader Linnean hierarchical classification system. 6. Beyond simple identification, what are two major implications of binomial nomenclature for fields like conservation or evolutionary biology? 7. A newly discovered plant is named *Botanica nova star. What does this tell you about its classification? Pause the video, reflect, and formulate comprehensive answers. Are you ready to truly master this topic? Let's push the boundaries of your knowledge and explore the deepest scientific and philosophical insights behind binomial nomenclature. Linnaeus's system, while revolutionary, didn't emerge in a vacuum. It was a critical response to the overwhelming need for order during the Age of Exploration, as countless new species flooded into Europe. Though Linnaeus himself was a creationist, his systematic grouping of organisms by shared physical traits inadvertently laid the crucial groundwork for later evolutionary thought. This period marked a subtle yet profound shift from nominalism, where names were seen as mere arbitrary labels, towards realism, where names began to reflect natural, biologically meaningful groups. Linnaeus's consistent application of genus and species concepts was a monumental step, providing a flexible framework that, despite its pre-evolutionary origins, proved adaptable to future scientific paradigms. The genius of binomial nomenclature lies in its elegant simplicity and robust design, functioning almost like an engineered solution for biological information management. Its two-part structure, the genus for a higher-level grouping and the species for unique identification, is a highly compressed form of information. This design minimizes redundancy and maximizes data content, effectively acting as an optimized database index. The stringent rules, such as Latinization, priority, and the use of type specimens, serve as vital design constraints. They ensure the system's integrity, preventing chaos and guaranteeing global interoperability among scientists. It's a testament to Linnaeus's foresight that this structure has remained so effective for centuries. Beyond mere identification, the concepts of taxonomic authority and nomenclatural stability are critical to the system's robustness. Taxonomic authority refers to the scientist or scientists who first validly published a name. This links a name directly to its original, detailed description and a designated type specimen, creating an unchangeable, objective reference point that minimizes subjective interpretation. Nomenclatural stability, a primary goal of the international codes like ICSID and ICN, is achieved through rigorous rules. The principle of priority dictates that the earliest validly published name for a taxon is the correct one. Rules governing homonymy prevent the same name from being used for different taxa, while synonymy rules resolve cases where multiple names exist for the same taxon, ensuring only one valid name is retained. These codes effectively regulate a global naming convention, preventing scientific anarchy. In the modern era, Linnean taxonomy, based on morphology, often converges with phylogenetics, which uses genetic data to infer evolutionary relationships. While they generally align, genetic evidence can sometimes reveal divergences, leading to necessary revisions in classification. However, binomial nomenclature remains the universally accepted naming convention, serving as stable identifiers even within phylogenetically defined clades. This system is foundational to all biological disciplines. It's indispensable for global biodiversity assessment, helping us catalog and understand Earth's species. It's crucial for conservation efforts, enabling us to identify and protect endangered species. Moreover, it underpins applied biology, from identifying agricultural pests to medical pathogens, and provides the essential common language for sharing and replicating all biological research findings worldwide, propelling scientific progress. Now, let's tackle the first 5 questions in our hardest level challenge. These questions require analytical thinking and a deep understanding. 1. Discuss the philosophical shift in taxonomic thought from pre-Linnean systems to Linnaeus's binomial nomenclature, particularly concerning the concept of species and natural groupings. 2. How does the two-part structure of binomial nomenclature function as an engineered solution for efficient information retrieval and communication in biology? Elaborate on its design principles. 3. Explain the concept of taxonomic authority and its crucial role in ensuring the stability and unambiguous nature of scientific names. 4. Beyond the basic rules of capitalization and italics, elaborate on how the principles of priority, homonymy, and synonymy, as enforced by international codes, contribute significantly to nomenclatural stability. 5. Analyze the relationship between traditional Linnean classification, morphology-based, and modern phylogenetic classification, genetics-based. How do they complement each other, and where might they diverge, leading to taxonomic revisions? Take your time, formulate comprehensive and insightful answers. Let's continue with the remaining 5 questions for our hardest level. These questions will push you to think critically and apply your advanced knowledge. 6. Evaluate the practical impact of binomial nomenclature on global biodiversity assessment and conservation efforts. Provide specific examples of its utility in these fields. 7. Consider a scenario where a newly discovered species is found to be morphologically similar to an existing genus but genetically distinct. How might taxonomic authorities resolve this, and what are the implications for its binomial name? 8. Why is the use of a dead language like Latin significant for the universality and long-term stability of scientific nomenclature, rather than a modern language? 9. Discuss potential challenges or limitations of the Linnean binomial system in the context of rapidly evolving understanding of microbial diversity or cryptic species complexes. 10. If the phylocode were to gain widespread adoption, how might it fundamentally alter the way species are named and classified compared to the current Linnean system, and what would be the perceived advantages or disadvantages? Good luck, future scientists! And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into binomial nomenclature. We've journeyed from its simple rules to its profound impact on global science. We hope this comprehensive exploration has sparked your curiosity and deepened your understanding. Remember, the world of biology is vast and endlessly fascinating, and a strong foundation in concepts like this is key to unlocking its secrets. For more such engaging and in-depth educational content, visit our platform at synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for regular updates and to continue your learning adventure with us. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning. See you in the next lesson.